Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me, and this is the card that I've been making today. So this card opens up in a slightly unusual way. You just lower the flap and then you open it up, and inside I've put a space for you to write your sentiment. Now, it was inspired by the absolutely wonderful Jennifer Maguire. I absolutely adore her tutorials, and I wanted to see if I could reproduce something like it using the Stampin' Up materials that I have on hand, because I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And yeah, this is what I came up with. Really happy with it. Stay with me, I'll show you how I made it. For my card, I have two pieces of basic black. They're each 4 inches wide and they're each 11.5 inches long. And I'm going to score one of them at 5 3/4 of an inch. So that's just my ordinary card base. And the other one, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And then at 6 1/4 inches. Okay, so I've got 5 3/4 of an inch at the back, and I've got a 1/2 inch flap to fold over. I want to cut this shape out, but I want to keep it attached to the base of the card here. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it onto my my die cutting base plate, and I'm bringing over my other plate and I'm lining it up so that I'm not covering up that part of the die right there. Okay, so when I roll this through my machine, which I will go and do in a moment, this part will be cut, this part won't be. So I'm going to go away and do that. I will be right back. And I am back, and full disclosure, I've actually had to cut this twice, because the first time I put it through, I forgot that this die is one of the dies that Sizzix made for Stampin' Up, and their cut edge is right on the edge of the dies. I thought it was one of the newer ones where the cut edge is sort of in the middle there, and when I ran it through I cut my tree out completely, so I had to do it again. So don't make the same mistake I did. Find out where your cutting edge is before you try running things through your die cutting machine. So this is what I now have. So I have my tree is still connected to the base of my card, and I'm just going to bring in my trimmer just to release it. Now, I could do this with a scissors or a cutting blade, but since I'm going to be having my trimmer out to do other stuff with, I'm just going to put the scoring blade out of the way. I thought I might as well do this with my trimmer. Right, so what I am going to try and do now, not easy with a black card, I'm just trying to line up the cut with the track of my blade, and I'm going to go very, very carefully. Try and stop before I get to the base of my tree trunk. And I've actually got this the wrong way around for me, so I can't quite see. There we go, that's better. I can see what I'm doing a bit better now. I'm just going to bring in my snips and just take away those last little bits. we go. Now that trunk is slightly wobbly, so I'm just going to take a little piece off the back of the card there, and when I finish doing my stamping, I'm going to glue that up to the back of the tree, sort of kind of like a little bit of a splint for it. I am now ready to do my stamping. I've got my sentiment mounted up on a clear block. I have my card ready. I have white embossing powder, which I will have ready, and I have, most important, my embossing buddy, because white embossing powder on black card shows up like a mad thing, and I really don't want any fingerprints or anything over this. So lots of light tapping, pick my spot, and you need to be quite decisive when stamping. It's no good dithering and dilly-dallying. Just press down and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives the ink time to transfer. Quite happy with that. On goes the white embossing powder, and in comes the heat tool. Okay, so back at the beginning of the video I told you to cut a card base, and I don't know where my head was, because you don't actually need to do that. You just need a panel of, in this case, basic black, which is just under 5 3/4 of an inch. So I cut my panel to 5 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, and I just it came back about 1/16 of an inch, something like that, just to give myself enough room. And at this end of the card, I've cut my corners away just to reduce the bulk a little bit, and I'm going to bring these two pieces together. Just wind that over the top. So now my card, I'm just going to check for fit, because I want that to be able to close. Give it a bit of encouragement with my folder, and that's still a tiny bit long, so I'm just going to just shave off a very small amount with my trimmer. And that now closes up nicely. This is one of my crafting UFOs, my unfinished objects. It's a piece of inkjet photo paper, and a few videos ago I did some experimenting using our pigment sprinkles and inks, and just seeing how they would work on the photographic paper, and I was pretty pleased with the way they came out. So I've got made a few sheets of paper in different colours while I was playing, and if you want to go back and have a look at how I did it, I'll put a link below. You can go and have a look at those. So I've trimmed this so that it is it's about 3 3/4, maybe a little bit more, and again a little bit short of the 5 3/4 at the base. And I am going to stick that onto the front of my card. Now, something like snail or dry adhesive tape, something like that, would work absolutely fine for this. It's just that I happen to have my liquid adhesive handy, and the tape is in the other room, and I don't have to go and disturb my husband for it, who, by the way, is doing very, very well. We are now both recovered from the disease, the pandemic, and yeah, we did get off extremely lightly. You know, I've heard stories of people who, I mean, quite apart from the ones who are, you know, in real trouble, people who don't need to go to hospital but still feeling pretty blooming awful. So we were super lucky, and that is my card. I think I'm just going to wiggle that a little bit because I don't want to see any of the coloured card popping out of the edges. But that, I think, is the front of it done. And there it is. That is my finished card, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out, and I'm also really happy that I got to use up some of my my UFOs, my unfinished objects. And that's it for today. So thank you very much for joining me. I'd be thrilled skinny if you came back and saw me again sometime soon. But for now, bye bye.